Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Subramaniam Maslamani. I am a Tamil. Today my topic is Tamils, an individually intelligent but collectively calamitous community. In Toronto, where I live, there are two communities that excel very well, the Chinese and the Tamils. The Royal Bank of Canada, one of the biggest in the world, widely advertises among the Chinese and the Tamils. Well, if only this individually intelligent community can get over its disunity and division and come together as one community, we can make history. History says the invading Nordics 3,500 years ago and the invading barbarians from the south of Sri Lanka are actively engaged in keeping this community divided. I wish if only we can unite, we can become a very healthy and prosperous community. I hope we Tamils begin to appreciate each other's brilliance, and form one united community. We stand to benefit, and the world stand to benefit. A friend of mine just returned from Dominican Republic from a week's holiday. I asked him, how are the people? He said, they are mixed and aimless. That is what happens when there is tourism. That's called bastardization of a nation. Tourists are fun seekers, so they look for booze and other senses. And once the senses are tame, look for fun and frolic. You all know that. Now, can you relate this to Sri Lanka? It is being converted into a fun paradise. Then there is the fanaticism fanned by the triangle of evil, Mahavamsa, the Mahasangha and the Mahanayakas, two opposing cultures within one. But they took these children of the fun and frolic and channeled them into fanaticism. But the Tamils coming from a well-structured, living, seeking redress from these people. Tourism is a preferred economic model of Sri Lanka. But the Tamils are focused on German, Japanese, Korean socio-economic model. I do not know why the Sinhalese are trying to pollute a vibrant race of people. That is why we have embarked on a journey to reclaim this community from the cultural genocide of the barbarians. Sex is a river of fire, and it has to be controlled through orderly marriage to produce healthy, disease-free community. I didn't say that. Pope Benedict said that. We cannot change our anatomy, so purity in relationship is prerequisite for a cleaner society. Some of the worst diseases find comfort in our sexual organs, and transmitting them through sexual promiscuity leads to disease and dysfunctional individuals. Therefore, we need an extremely disciplined culture to maintain the purity of the society. Otherwise, the burden of healthcare expenses will bankrupt the world, and it's coming. Healthcare drains the economic vitality of any nation. Besides, transgenerational outlook on life has been replaced with Friday paycheck syndrome world over. It will not last. Thank God I was born in Tamil culture, where we focus on the next 1,000 years. Booze, sex, gambling, fun and frolic are for instant satisfaction with bitter after effects, and not for eternal glorification. Let's have it all today. Who cares about the next generation? Now one can see the trouble in Sri Lanka. One is a planned community and the other is a plagued community. I operate a small enterprise and I make sure that my associates put away money for future. Once they have a stable family with financial security, they become excellent performers. This excellent performance lead to improved income. Thus, I create a fountain of never-ending wealth, a cornucopia. So, we have set out on a journey to recapitulate and reclaim this community of 70 million people scattered all over the world. We have embarked on education and entrepreneurship to revitalize the community. No economic emancipation is possible without an exacting cultural heritage. What have India done to Tamils? It has created a romantic, careless, unstructured community of moviegoers. The Sri Lankan Sinhalese are at the same game. The Sinhalese have set out now to divide the community around the world. I hope Tamils keep a very close watch on them. We are not a community ravaged and savage with fanaticism. What we need is a sociological model where people live in harmony without fear of famine or threat to their life and health. I am confident that China will do it. But India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka will never, unless the Tamils, 70 million, take over the cultural heritage of South Asia. We are not racist, fanatics or narcissists. We are simply people with preponderance to harness the power and resources of the universe for creating better life for all. Look at Germany, Japan, USA and Korea. They are everywhere with their wares and wealth. You see them, you buy them, you use them, you enjoy them. That is what we Tamils want to do. Look, our enthusiasm for life was subdued by a numerically larger but mentally weaker race of people. That's wrong. It's bad for them, bad for us. It's not good for them, it's not good for us. Today, like the Greeks and the Romans, our culture is enriching the whole world except in Sri Lanka. I hope the Sinhalese change and become mentally strong and physically abusive. We want the Sinhalese in Sri Lanka to become smart instead of being stupid. When Mahinda Rajapaksa and before him S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike and J.R. Jayawarthana talk, we can feel the barbaric mindset in their words, deeds and behavior. If they have to introduce 5,000 rupee denomination bills, what does it tell you? There is no productivity but proclivity for racism. When you cultivate racism and fanaticism, you pay the economic price. I trace the Sri Lankan problem to the triangle of evil, the Mahavamsa, the Mahasangha, and the Mahanayakas. If they teach racism to children at school, especially at the early years, what do they become? Mahinda Rajapaksa is a product of the indoctrination, of this indoctrination. He said he is Luddha Gemna number 2, but God put him in this right place. If the Sinhalese people do not turn around 180 degrees, they will suffer the fate of Palestinians. The Sinhalese people must come into the modern society, respecting human rights and human freedom for an equitable and just society. For 60 years of waste and wanton killing and abuse of Tamil will never go unrepented. Someone will pay the price. A couple of days ago, one of Mahinda Rajapaksa's Golayas, Savon, in his racist performances, surreptitiously organized a political meeting under the disguise of religious function and preached racism in the USA. This is no one other than Shavindra Silva, the man who carried out the order to decimate 40,000 innocent Tamil civilians. The tone of his voice, words, and body language told us that he is here on a mission to create trouble. We are keeping a very close watch on his whereabouts and words uttered. The current strife in Sri Lanka was fundamentally caused by a natural factor deficiencies, specifically the lack of sufficient salinity-free water to sustain life in the north. It is the Sinhalese, by purposely withholding water to the north, perpetrated this racial tension and civil war. They deep in their mind want us to either leave or die. If they are any wiser, they would have sent water to the north so that the Tamils do not migrate south looking for water-rich lands. I hope someone understands this natural phenomenon, natural problem becoming a human disaster. Neither Tamils point this out to the Sinhalese. Sorry to say, the Tamils were never united in their minds. In their greed to grab, they sacrifice everyone. It is their poor evolution of mind and the understanding of the purpose of life that led to this national disaster. We have set out to correct this defect through education and knowledge building. Sri Lanka has a landman ratio of 350 people per square kilometer. It cannot hope to maintain a healthy society on traditional income sources. It has to become a high-tech, export-oriented society similar to Japan, Korea, and Germany, where the landman ratios are pretty high. Tamils have successfully exported them to wiser and wealthier pastures and now has a healthier balance of people to land supplemented by hard currencies from around the world. Singles are trying, but they end up in the Middle East as maids and mistresses. Can we change the mindset of the Sinhalese? It has to be It has been done consciously, unconsciously, and subconsciously. We had to slowly but steadily provide the necessary stimulus for change. We had to reduce the focus on race, religion, and language and replace with internal diversity within us, such as the multiple intellect of creativity. We, as late Reverend Martin Luther King said, let's look for the internal content of intelligence than the external complexity of language, color, caste, and religion. He set the paradigm shift towards a newer society. But for that, we must praise the American Constitution that treat all of us equal. Sri Lanka is about 100 years behind. We should burn their constitution. Where is Mahinda and his people? They are into violence, criminality, state-sponsored terrorism, paramilitarism, stiff judiciary, etc. Will they ever change? Unless we starve them through trade and economic sanctions. Can the United Nations help? No, because it is not a just organization. Too many culprits are got in, along with courageless, cunning, and listless people. Today the world is guided by social networking through internet. We Tamils, 70 million strong, must come together and form one homogeneous community, looking out for each other and looking out for each other. Though 70 million numbers, we are numerical minorities in all nations. We must take advantage of the World Wide Web to connect with each other and promote socio-economic dialogue and help each other to rise to a new, higher level of social standing. The Sinhalese in Sri Lanka and Indians in India, if they wish, can join us for a different journey. In India, the racial disharmony is getting too strong, and we must be ready to accept those Indian people who divorced from the intolerant Indian culture. Quoting from Emile Durkheim, in the Division of Labor, a society composed of infinite number of disorganized individuals that a hypertrophied state is forced to oppress and contain constitute a veritable monstrosity. Moreover, the state is too remote from individuals, in relations with them too external and intermittent to penetrate deeply into individual conscience and socialize with them. A nation can be maintained only if between the state and the individual there is interposed a whole series of secondary groups near enough to the individual to attract them strongly in their sphere of action and drag them in this way into a great torrent of social life. And hence, as Alexis de Tocqueville said, the art of association then becomes a mother of action. All Tamils should follow this one. The art of association then becomes a mother of action. We must find a way to associate, unite. I hope we Tamils take this to our heart and become united in our hearts, minds, and deeds. There has never been and never will be a compelling opportunity for us to bring our people together. The will is there, but the leadership is missing. I may not have said much, but I keep trying and learning. I do not want to regret later that I did not try. As I always said, 70 million Tamils worldwide unite, stay together, work hard, and never ever give up. The best is yet to come, and we are winning. Thank you very much. I'm Subramaniam Maslamani, a world-class Tamil, powered by convictions, commitments, and conscience.